Hello and welcome. Thank you for that wonderful intro, Ian. It looks like you've been having some fun with your drone.
A little bit of fun, just a little bit.
Beautiful city that we live in. Welcome, everybody. We are the Real Estate Lab. We are here bringing you real estate content about the Austin area, Austin and surrounding areas. So today we have an awesome episode. I'm so excited to talk about things to know before moving to Austin. You might be considering moving here. So we're going to get you in the loop on what you need to know before moving to this city. So without further ado, let me introduce my colleagues here. We'll start with this guy to my
right. Every time.
I know, right?
You.
JJ Tolentino with the Next Level Property Group at Keller Williams Realty. Excited to talk about the city we love so much, ATX. What's up, Ian?
Hey, I go by ianofAustin everywhere on the internet. The first thing I want to say is just because we're talking about moving to Austin and things to know, there are a lot of things that people may not know about the city, and they've already lived here or maybe thinking of relocating elsewhere. And so keep that in mind as we're having these discussions today. And lastly, we're also on Spotify. Where are we else? Where else? Amazon, Google,
Facebook,
all those places. Any podcast place.
Look up Ian's TikTok, all of that good stuff. And I am your host today, Liberty Walker, Realtor. And let's just dive right into it, guys. So when you think of Austin, what's the first thing that may come to your mind is that we are usually on a regular day. I know this year has been kind of different, but the live capital music of the world. So what is that gonna, yeah.
I was gonna say, here's what I've noticed. If you were to take a step back in time about a year and a half, there were music festivals all over the place, but not just music festivals. You can go down any street in any small town, and most of their bars and their restaurants had not only people inside eating and having a good time, but people outside enjoying some artist either playing music, doing a comedy show or something like that. So that was very much a staple of the city.
Yes. And I've honestly, during South by Southwest, there was a band that was inside the back of a pickup truck, and it was just driving around. Like, you can hear live music anywhere you go in a typical time. Now, I know this year's been a little different. Finding live music might be a little harder. It's still happening.
It is. For those that don't know, Texas opened back up, right? So people are still being safe mostly, but I see a lot of things coming back to normal this year. What do you think, JJ, Liberty?
I'm still social distancing. It's tough to think about now. It's more the memories of, like, I know how South by was. I know what it was like to walk around downtown, and there's just like a live band, there's a DJ, there's many entertainment districts. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there are lots of different get-togethers, right? So I used to go to Symphony in the Park. You guys ever been to that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. But here's the thing. In most cases, you were already social distancing without actually knowing it, right? Because you had your own little section, and then other people would be over there in their little section, and everybody had blankets and chairs, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. The only thing that would change this year, if they opened it back up, which I anticipate they will, is masks.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that was actually in the park. Yeah. So there's
it's outside. It's outside in the park. Stuff. Not a problem.
Yeah.
So even though things do look different this year, things are starting to open up, and you can definitely find live music everywhere. So expect that when you are visiting or moving here. Live music is at our core, and we celebrate it every day. Yeah. But this year has given us an opportunity to think a little bit deeper about our city and find some other things that we love about it and want to talk about it. So without, thinking of music, something you might not think about, food. The food scene in Austin, in the past, it wasn't that much to note about. It was like Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. But now Austin is really having a presence. What do you guys think?
JJ, what do you think?
I agree with you. I remember at some point I thought Austin is missing restaurateurs. Like it's just not happening. And just recent, I would say more like recent, like few years, a lot more has started to pop up.
You know, that's an interesting point. So we're talking about things to know before moving here, right? And so if you're coming here, you need to know that there is, so I'm from Chicago, no pizza compares. No
Right.
pizza compares. No Chicago dogs, Chicago style dogs. We don't have White Castle.
What
We have a
about
lot
Buffalina?
of,
Have you been to Buffalina? You don't like that pizza? Oh, it's not the same
that's
pizza.
New York style.
But Buffalina is more like, it's more farm to table, like just crispy crust with like delicious toppings.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't say there's any Chicago pizza here. Like
that's what I mean. So if you're
Yeah.
coming here from a place like that or from any place, you have to think about what are the staples in your area. And then before you come, start looking and seeing if those staples are already represented here. It's a really big deal. So we have Ethiopian restaurants, we have Brazilian steakhouses, we have a lot of cultural food. Tacos, don't even get me started on tacos. We have all that.
what about, have you guys been to Loro, the
Yes.
Franklin and Uchi baby? They got together, they made a little baby. Have you
Yeah.
been there, JJ?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super awesome.
Tasty. That's in South Austin. And if you're visiting, looking at homes and you have some time, stop in at Loro and treat yourself because they have a fabulous outside patio too. You can distance yourself and have a cocktail, have some tasty bites out there.
You know, I love that Austin has a lot of fusion style restaurants like Laurel. Right? So
yeah, because you think Franklin's barbecue, Texas. Yeah. But then you have Uchi and Uchiko, which are like Japanese restaurant, you know. I mean, I guess it's Tyson.
So-
who was the guy that
there's a place called Yummy over on 183. Have you ever been there?
I haven't been there, but I've seen it.
And
Okay,
Oak Knoll?
so imagine this. It's like, on Oak Knoll. So it
Yeah.
is like a Vietnamese meets Mexican fusion restaurant.
Yeah.
What? It's incredible. So, and that's just one, like I said, one of many things. Okay, so we have a lot of food. We have a lot of diversity of food. We cater to all styles, vegan, gluten free, food trucks, everything. So I think that's important when people are coming here, planning to move here.
So what's another one, JJ, that you think that people should consider when they're thinking about moving to Austin? Something to keep in mind.
The one thing, especially from the realtor standpoint, that also looks at the economy, it's a tech city. We've hit that mark, you know.
And that's so exciting. That's relatively new, right? I mean,
yeah. The platform was set with Michael Dell, and it just avalanched into tech titans all making space here.
Yeah,
and that ripples out in a lot of different ways. Like we could talk about a lot of different reasons that affects the city, but that's one thing you got to consider. That's part of the economy here for sure.
I mean, have you heard it by its new nickname, Silicon Hills?
Silicon
Hills. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have Oracle, Apple, Tesla, the factory, you know, Dell, Intel, PayPal. I mean, there's an Indeed. I mean, there's so many. There's so many.
Google.
What do you think about the Tex-Mex?
Where do you go for Tex-Mex in the Still Pickle? Do you go to Chewy's or Maudie's?
Ooh,
Chewy's is like my family's go-to.
Yeah.
I like Chewy's. I used to
work. Let us know your favorite Tex-Mex in the comments.
Tex-Mex.
So outside of a tech town, what do you think, Ian? What do you think people should think about, consider?
So outside of that, I think let's jump into the fact that it was known as a college town, but it's kind of exploded. I had somebody who came here and said to me, I didn't realize it was so big. So she had come from California and she thought she was coming to a tiny city. So that kind of hit me weird. I was like, I mean, it's still a tiny city. It only takes 30 minutes to get somewhere if there's no traffic, 30 to 45 minutes. And so when she said it's too big, it threw me. What do you guys think about that? The traffic is definitely a concern.
The traffic is picking up. we have been spoiled, especially as realtors. We are out there hitting the streets every day. Sometimes I drive in a month. I could have driven to New York City and back. I tracked it. It's crazy.
We've got one right here. Check this out.
Oh, yes. So we definitely started off on a high note, and now we're thinking about, yes, people that are moving here. I get this question, how are allergies? And the big ones are going to be the cedar trees here. There are a lot of cedar trees. And also it's dusty. And so dust and mold, cedar fever. It seems like every season there's a different allergen that will be affecting you. So, and I've heard that it doesn't affect you until like 10 years of living here. Is that true, Ian?
I would say it's a few years. Most people, they'll come here. They've never had allergies before in their life. You give them a couple of years being here and they cannot stand it. And I'm not trying to turn people off. That's important. What I did is I did a neti pot and local honey for the first, let's say, month of living here every single day. Haven't had any allergies since, unless it's like a crazy pollen. But otherwise, I've been good.
I will also suggest that there's these little droplets that you can get. It's called like
under your tongue.
Yeah, and it's like a small microdose of the allergies. And that might be able to help you, but we are not doctors. We're realtors. So
right. Important disclosure right here. Yeah. Other comments?
Yes.
That's important.
Before Miss Stillpickle said cultural diversification in the arts. I don't know if you guys know, but my background before becoming a realtor, I worked in the visual arts. I used to manage an art gallery downtown. And so I am very aware there's so many wonderful things going on with the arts, performance art, visual arts.
What do people need to know about it though? Like when they're coming here, where do they need to know? What can you tell them to be prepared for?
Okay, I would definitely say that get on some email lists of these galleries. They will give you invitations. Usually art openings are happening on Thursday evenings or Friday evenings in a typical time. Now it's a little different, but there are a lot of free things you can enjoy, and they'll have like a Tito's is infamous for sponsoring all of our art shows. So come and get some free vodka and look at some art, meet some people. It's a great way to meet new people going to art openings.
I don't know if people know that Tito's is made right here in Austin, Texas. Tito's vodka.
Yeah, that's a super successful vodka company.
So have you ever been to, is it Mondo Art Gallery?
Oh, yes.
Where's that at?
Near the university. So it's Mondo Art Gallery. And it was one of those like secret, like the outside of the building was just black, didn't say anything. You wouldn't even know. So I would say join any kind of Facebook groups for art or artists, if that's your passion. And this applies to every target on here. And Meetup. We're big on Meetup and events and Yelp and those sorts of things here.
Because like Ian said, you really have to get connected, because it is like a lot of the spaces are kind of impromptu spaces too for like stand-up comedy and like underground events. So it may look just like a dark building, but inside you're like, where are the people going?
Did you hear about Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle buying up comedy clubs here to relaunch?
Oh, no, but that's...
what's funny is I've heard interviews where they thought that would be a good idea. Central Austin at a time like this.
Yep.
Getting commercial spaces.
Yes.
So that is so exciting when things start opening up again in a bigger capacity. Miss Dill Pickle again. She's saying lakes. We have so many lakes here, man-made. I'm over here by the Walter E. Long Lake, which you can fish. You can buy a day pass. It's like $10, and you can buy a boat pass if you have a boat or a canoe, and just like enjoy it. Or you can do something more like Town Lake, where you can do stand-up paddle boards. Ian, I've seen you on a picture of you on one of those. I have never done it before. I'm too scared to fall in the water.
Stand-up paddle board? I did that. Oh gosh, yeah. I do everything I can do. I try to do. It's fun.
It's a very athletic city. Wouldn't you say, JJ? Wouldn't you say that there's a lot of people out there exercising, running, doing things outside?
Yeah, especially when you go to Town Lake, you see the hike and bike trail and you see everybody running around and canoeing and paddle boarding. and working out. It's
So if
you fit space.
If you're planning on moving here this year, maybe start your workout, get a head start on it. So when you get to town, you can just like get on that bike trail, and in the Texas heat, you'll be prepared. Maybe turn up your thermostat at home and start your training there, because this summer is going to be a hot one.
I wanted to pull this up because I don't know how many people actually know what's happening over by Walter E. Long. So there are a couple developments over here, like not Pioneer Crossing.
Colony Park.
Colony Park is one of them. There's a bunch, but anyway, the lake. See, they're building it up pretty significantly, and again, I don't know that a lot of people know about that, and so any of the Parker Station's where I was going to go. Parker Station's like right at the top of the hill.
I thought you were talking about that, the DR Horton community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So over in this area, you're going to find things like Rodeo Austin, the location where they have rodeo every year, and Walter E. Long Lake. And there's some new developments going on around there. It kind of connects to Manor, which is still a very affordable suburb that's coming up.
I do think that lake project's going to take a while.
Yeah, but you know what? Think about the cost of living increase, the equity increase in the area. That's what I wanted to
the cost
say.
of living probably going to go too, but equity for
a little
sure.
Bit. Yeah. Well, so before I moved here, I remember a guy, one of my good friends, he was like, "Why are you moving to Austin? They don't even have any water. All it is cows." And I was like, I don't know. And I had never been here, so I really didn't have a defense. But obviously we have a lot of.
There's a lot. I mean, Barton Springs, that's a beautiful spring that stays 72 degrees all year long. And, the green belt itself, if we've had heavy rains, turns into like a babbling brook. So there's a lot of water to get into.
You got Lake Austin, Lake Travis, which is all basically Colorado River.
Here's a question I have. If someone is coming from California, when they get here, what's the lake? What's the difference in water here, right? Like bodies of water, because this is not the coast. You got to be really clear about that, right?
Yeah.
It's not like LA or San Diego.
Yeah, it's definitely a river.
Yeah. Like we can't even swim in Ladybird Lake. We paddleboard, but we don't swim in that water.
Because I think it's the bacteria levels on how hot it gets. But if you did want to go and jump
into the bat poop, all the bats poop in the water. I'm not trying to be gross, but
is that really it though?
It's beautiful, huh?
That's not it though, is it?
Oh, let's talk about the bats, because people might not know. So we have the wing-tailed Mexican fruit bat.
Yeah.
And they are colonizing all over. They live in the side of rocks and canyons. They live under bridges. And if you are walking around and you smell corn tortillas, you're probably close to a bat's nest.
Oh, yeah. Check this one out.
So John S. said, "We are from Seattle, and I never saw the Washington flag in my 35 years there. We moved here 3 months ago, and I've seen about 300 Texas flags flying high and proud. So we are one of the only states that can fly our state flag and the U.S. flag parallel. Isn't that right, Ian?"
That's a really good point. And the thing is, our flags, you always hear everything's bigger in Texas. They seriously make their flags as big as houses in some of these cases. It's kind of funny, but it puts one of those smiles on your face, and you're just thinking, okay, I get it. Like I get once you're here, you understand. You understand why people's pride is the way it is.
Yes, we do. We do love our flags here in Texas.
Yeah.
It's a very it roots from the Republic. Like Texas was its own country.
I mean, acted like it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. They acted like it. And the thing is, we're a tech city. We're also oil, right? We're also farming, right? And there's just so much, and there's so much land still left to build that the trade to and from Texas to some of the other states is huge. So we're sustained by many things, not just tech, like let's say Silicon Valley, right? That's important too.
Mm-hmm. Got to buy new fishing gear for the freshwater fish.
Yes.
Do you guys like to go fishing? When's the last time you went fishing?
It's been too long. It's been a couple years. I was going camping. I bought fishing gear and it was trash gear. So I need to catch back up on that. So Don and I, when he closes on his house next week, we'll have to go fishing.
Boom.
Just don't go noodling.
Yeah. This is a good question from Viviana. What do you think? Let's read it. So she's talking about the Walter E. Long.
They're doing that plan. So yes, they are doing it. They have town meetings. You can go and follow on Facebook, the city of Austin, and there's actually a page dedicated to it, and they host pretty regular meetings. I think I've invited you to a few, Ian.
I would say it's going to take decades.
Decade? You stop with that. Don't be giving us that bad juju. For real?
Yeah. You ever, I remember being in real estate like in 05, and then I've seen some futuristic renderings.
Yeah.
And Austin now is about, 5% of it. Like if you really look at it, you'll see like South Congress skylines, right? And there are buildings being built. It just, when I see that, it looks super futuristic. But I also haven't gone to any meetings. I just like kind of process how futuristic it is and then just gauge like 50 years.
Go ahead.
30 years maybe.
Well, you said South Congress skyscrapers. I mean, I hadn't gone to South Congress in like a month. And I went there for lunch the other day and I was like, they have built that. They're building them, JJ.
Oh yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have to be high rise. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's still so much development. It's just, I could see futuristic stuff. Like, yeah, South Congress isn't there I don't even know how to pronounce this. This is embarrassing. Hermes.
Okay.
That like luxury brand is like on South Congress and those mid-rise buildings, those mixed-use buildings.
Yeah, I love it.
Like office and retail. And you would never think, I wouldn't think of SoCo as luxury shopping. It was always
it is now.
Yeah, it is now. Like you go there, it's pretty astonishing. If you
there's a line out the door for Lululemon.
Yeah. It's nuts.
So I would say yes, Viviana, they are officially working on it, but it's still a government project. It might take a little bit of time.
It definitely takes time. And we're probably looking at maybe, I'd say, probably less than 10 years, more than 5 years.
I think you have to look at the website. They have a lot of plans for it. Like they're still looking for investors and which companies are going to do.
And they're breaking ground over there on the new pool they're putting in. Yeah. So things are happening. But
I think that's the big point. Who is the one spearheading the development? Right?
Let Elon do it. He'll get it done.
I know. He's got the Gigafactory up in a year. Seriously, 1 year. There was nothing there, and now it's close to done. And I put the Google building, the Tesla building, those were both in our intro.
I saw that.
Right? And those were still a few months back when I took those drone shots. So I'll get some more up here in the new.
Now, what's interesting when the Walter E. Long project first popped up on my radar, the economics of the area were different. Now, when I think about it, and Tesla's there, that's a very interesting dynamic.
And Amazon, do you see their warehouse? What's their warehouse? 5 million square feet or something crazy? Like it's huge. And that's only one of a bunch of warehouses that people don't talk about. People only know the one that's on 130 in Pflugerville. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how much money is pouring into this area and how many projects are being developed right now, how many cranes are in the air. It's incredible. So you need to be aware of that, right? So wherever you're choosing to move when you're moving to Austin is where's that growth going to be most impactful?
Right. And then maybe something that gets overlooked these days because we're growing so big, like, do you still consider Austin being a college town? I mean, we have UT here. It definitely started out as a college town. But
I think it's going to blend into kind of like how you think about Silicon Valley with Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to blend a little bit, like University of Texas, computer sciences, maybe. I mean, if they want to pluck talent, but sports-wise, it's definitely the only game in town is Texas football.
If we go back to why...
Oh, hey, sorry. We got the soccer. My bad.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the new MLS.
bad.
I got drone shots of that too. I'm gonna put those on one day soon.
We got the soccer.
Yeah, officially. That started. We're 2 games in.
I think so.
I think our team has started at
remark in regards to professional basketball and professional football.
Yeah. Well, we finally have soccer, so I think that's a big deal. We've had hockey. We've got B League hockey and basketball.
And can you pull up a picture of the new soccer field just so that it's just a magnet? It's over by the Domain.
Yes, that's important to know where it's at because people are always like, oh.
And so, I cannot wait. I will be going to one of these games.
Sure, we can all go together. We should make that a group event.
Let's take some videos and stuff of Austin FC.
So I'll share it right now.
Because I am so ready to get.
Well, like you said, it's right next to the Domain, and I don't think people understand how big of a deal that is. Open up bigger. There you go. Look at that thing. Look at that rendering.
What league is this? Like, school me on the soccer situation.
Oh no! Don't even. I don't know. I don't know. But it's right next to the Domain in North Austin, people.
MLS Stadium.
MLS Stadium.
Major League Soccer, right?
Correct.
And you can get
and this is done. Like they just haven't, when last time I passed by, which is 3 days ago, I didn't see, there were still a bunch of cars in the parking lot, but it looks like they're ready to open and they haven't. I could be wrong.
They've had a few private events. I've seen people posting stuff on Instagram. But the Round Rock Express, I mean, they're putting trains in, transportation. That is such a big one. Like somebody moving from Chicago, Ian, you know about this. Someone who takes a train, someone who takes a subway or cabs. Like, I mean, now we have Uber and Lyft and these things, but traditionally, Austin has not been known for its public transportation. I feel like there's a shift happening.
There needs to be.
And there's so many people moving here. We have to get these people around. So,
well, and that's the thing. So when people are moving to Austin, they have to think about what is it that they're going to do. I have this conversation with, I would say 99% of people that talk about moving here. What do you enjoy doing? Do you like mountain biking? Do you want to spend time in the water? Do you want to sit in your house? Do you need land for cows and dogs and all that sort of stuff? What do you need? Because that's going to dictate where you move.
I mean, there's so much we could have covered. I mean, we could talk about native plants like poison ivy, red plants, the Texas heat. Like there's so many things that when you move here, you just have to talk to somebody who lives here so that you can get the skibby.
Skitty? Oh, skinny. I was like, what's a skitty?
The skinny.
So hiking. Any of y'all go hiking?
I mean, I used to go up and down the Greenbelt. Now I kind of stick more to paved stuff because
I'm about to share this. For those of y'all, this is how I'm going out. You ready for this? I was hiking, almost stepped on this guy.
Yeah, that's a rattlesnake.
I see a rattler.
No. That's my Google photos.
When you see him, don't try to hurt him. Just let him go and run the other direction.
Well, of course, but I didn't see him. I almost stepped on his tail or his toe or whatever you want to call it.
Oh my God. His toe.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, it is. They're out there. So don't be traipsing around in the tall grass without your boots on.
It's talking about Foreign Story is talking about the MLS. What league is that? So
we're going to find out. I feel like we're going to get tickets to the soccer game. We will get back to you guys on all the details for those, because we're excited about it. I mean, I'm ready to become a soccer fan. Let's do it.
Well, and the fact that you said venue space, that's another big industry that supports Austin is tourism and entertainment. And music, right? So imagine that being a venue right next to the Domain. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Lady Gaga, come and play us a show here in Austin.
She's already at one of the centers. We've got a few of those. What do you think about this? The Prop A for transportation.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. I mean, there's so much. There's so that it's its own episode. You know,
All right, we should probably do a part 2 of this.
Let's do a part 2 because I feel like there's a lot to discuss there.
There is.
Guys, we talked about, you know, living here, the logistics of it, what you can expect, what you can find. It's a great city. We love it. We're here to stay. So call us, hit us up if you have specific questions, and let's get you guys moved here. Come on down to Texas, y'all.
I think next episode, why don't we talk about people leaving Austin? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that
I like it. Let's do it.
I think most of my clients are listing, and they are.
I know.
Moving a little further out.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. This is save it.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to talk about that. That sounds so exciting. So thanks for joining us, taking some time on Friday. Comment on some things you might want to hear next time. And join us next Friday. You can see us here every Friday from 2:30 to 3. We're the Real Estate Lab, Ian, JJ, and Liberty.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.